for a snowy Tuesday morning. Open phones this hour, 989-752-6111. At 10 o'clock this morning after the news, we're going to talk to Southern Gospel impresario, the one and only Bill Gaither. Coming back to Saginaw this weekend, by the way. At 11 o'clock, Ben from RoofMax will join us on Focus. That's what's ahead this morning. But for now, open phones. Pulled a story down from the Free Press this morning. President Trump, the other day when he had all the car manufacturers in the Oval Office, at the Big Three anyway, he proposed that U.S. car makers make what he described as a tiny car. They have, of course, revoked all of the provisions for mileage efficiency that have been in place for a little while. And in order to compensate for that, the president is suggesting the automakers make a small vehicle similar to what they have in Japan and other Asian countries. And the headline says, Trump wants U.S. car makers to make a tiny car. Why it won't happen. And I would have to think, and I would agree that it won't happen, and I think the reason it won't happen is marketing, because we, the people, have said we don't want them. We've had some small cars in the past, and he was talking about cars that would be comparable to what the Volkswagen Beetle was for many, many, many years. Even the reincarnation that lasted a few years, which just went away recently. But we've spoken, that is, we, the driving public, have spoken, and we've spoken loudly with our dollars. We like them big and powerful. SUVs are the rage. Proof of that pudding is that the manufacturers have reduced the number of passenger cars that they produce, sedans and the like. General Motors still has a couple. Ford has the Mustang. Stellantis, I don't even know what they have in the way of cars at Stellantis. I'm trying to think now. Dodge. Well, yeah, you have the Charger. You do have some. But for the most part, we have moved to an SUV and pickup truck society. We don't like them smaller. We like them bigger. For a couple of reasons. One, I think we're power hungry. I just obtained a new car. Not new. It's not new. It's new to me. Let's put it that way. It's a few years old. But it's got 400 horsepower. It drives like a sports car, but it's not. It's a big three-seat utility, three-row utility vehicle. And the engine pumps out 400 horsepower and 415 foot-pounds of torque. It goes like a bat out of you-know-what. And that's only in the mid-range of horsepower. Now, I mean, it's not uncommon to get cars with 500 horsepower and more, lots more. If you really want to spend millions of dollars, you can buy a new Koenigsegg Primera for the fact that it has 2,300 horsepower. Yeah, I know. What do you do with it? Yeah. We do have speed limits in this country. But can you imagine that, 2,300 horsepower? I can't imagine the gas consumption, but anyway, neither here nor there, because I'll never have one. I just don't think that the small car mindset is big enough in this country to attract one of the manufacturers to give it a try again. Over the years, we have had smaller vehicles. And going back 40 and 50 years, we had lots of smaller vehicles. And generally, I say, they weren't the quality of the mid-scale and the bigger vehicles. Cheaper components, lighter weight, not as safe. There's all kinds of things you can say about them. But we spoke with our marketing dollars and said, nope, that's not what we want. We want SUVs, pickup trucks. And it's across the country. I mean, there's probably a few pockets somewhere where those residents might want smaller vehicles, but not the majority. And manufacturers, especially in this day and age, respond to the marketplace. And one of the things they've learned about the marketplace is they can make more money on SUVs and pickups. They have a bigger margin. There's nothing stopping manufacturers from making a small car other than the fact that we won't buy it. And that literally would put an end to it. Not like SUVs where they tried to shove them down our throats and gave us $7,500 incentives, which are now gone, but tried to do it that way. And even at that, they couldn't overtake our desire for big gas hogs. It's who we are. I don't see it changing for a long time. Now, I do believe the day will come when electrics will dominate the market. And here's why I say that. And these are the things that would have to happen. First of all, in the EV market, there is a thing called range anxiety. That is our anxiety to have a car that doesn't have enough mileage to get us where we want to go and could die on us in the middle of our trip. No one wants that. So that's the first thing that the manufacturers have to overcome, range anxiety, and that, I will say, they are working toward it. There are a number of EVs coming out that now claim 400 miles. Some will claim even more. There's new battery technology on the forefront. So that one, I think, will be overcome. The next thing that has to be overcome is the capital cost of putting chargers in your house and all of that, and the capital cost of the car. They're not inexpensive. Now, manufacturers like General Motors and Ford are working on coming up with EVs that are in the reasonable range, the late 20s, $30,000 range, rather than the average new car price today of $50,000 and average payments over $1,000 a month. So I can see EVs becoming more in demand a few years from now. I think a number of things has to happen. First of all, battery technology as it improves, we will get past the range anxiety. But then we have to have service facilities like we do gas stations. And I think the answer is for every one of those gas stations to install electric charging, fast charging stations where you can pull in with your EV and in 15 or 20 minutes get a 50 or 70% charge to send you on your way. And then now we're talking about convenience. If you get over the range anxiety and you have a place to charge every few blocks almost, then that's fine. Driving is driving. I mean, why don't we have range anxiety with a gasoline car? Because they only have the ability to do so many miles. On average, most cars will get you 300 to 400 miles, maybe. Some more, some less. But yet we don't have range anxiety when we buy one. And the reason is we know there's a gas station on every block. We know if we get anywhere near empty, we can pull into a gas station and put fuel in the car. And it only takes a couple of minutes. When EVs get to that point, that will really turn the market, in my view. Anyhow, lines open for you, 989-752-6111. Vernon, hold on. We'll get to you after this break.
Bonnie's Sewing Center is having...
as far as electric cars go, and the taste of the American driver as far as small cars go. That being said, why hasn't our industry focused more on like all gasoline vehicles being made to be flex fuel vehicles? And the diesel vehicles, like I own both. I own a diesel. And I would love to burn an agro-diesel mix or agro-diesel pure, but there's nowhere in this area other than one place in the thumb to buy such a thing. But if you go out west, in the western states, they have biodiesel available at their service stations.
But what's the taxing situation on that? Does it carry the road tax?
As far as the fuels?
Yep.
Yeah. It's the same. Like, think about, E85 has the same taxes as...
Yeah, that was my question. The problem, for some people, the problem with E85 is you lose mileage. So what you gain in savings up front, you lose in the mileage at the other end. So, it's so you pick your poison.
I've driven them both. I understand that, but I also know that the difference in mileage is basically negligible. My 2017 Chevrolet pickup has that ridiculous variable valve technology.
Yeah.
That kicks down to 4 cylinders when you're on the highway. Well, my mechanic, he's like, that ruins the engine. It doesn't do anything for mileage. Mm-hmm. So I tested that theory, and he's right.
Yeah. I often wondered about that technology and what it does. If it's only firing on 4 cylinders and the other 4 are going along for the ride, how does that affect them?
Well, it's very hard on the valves.
That's what I thought.
And vicariously, it's extremely hard on the transmission because the transmission will shift more from overdrive to drive, back and forth. So I bought a aftermarket product that you plug in to the vehicle, and it bypasses that. And, my mileage didn't change, Art. It was the same as with the VVT.
Yeah, funny thing about that, huh?
Yeah, so it's weird that we try to find the magic bullet instead of finding, hey, this is a good placebo for now. It cures some of the symptoms.
Find an answer that doesn't upset the apple cart and that we're willing to buy.
Exactly, and the market will follow. Like, technology is coming along. Technology, what is standard today, tomorrow is going to be outdated.
Well, yeah, that's the same thing with EVs because the battery development will change. It has. It's already changing.
But I'm like you. Why don't we have more hybrids?
To me, that's the answer.
Right. I mean, can you imagine a diesel electric hybrid, not a plug-in hybrid?
Yeah.
That I think those are ridiculous, but a true hybrid.
Well, the only difference,
hybrid.
Here's the difference. The difference between a diesel electric hybrid that's not a plug-in and a plug-in hybrid is you will get more mileage out of the plug-in because you will be able to go farther on the electric charge. And that's known. They're all that way. You don't get the electric mileage out of just a straight hybrid, but still you do better. And to me, if I gain, 15, 20% in mileage, that's a big increase.
Right.
So,
and Ram, they came out with the 8 cylinders this year.
Yeah.
And on their trucks, if you open the hood, you think, okay, I've seen this in Star Wars or something. There's this large thing over the alternator, and I was like, I asked the dealer, I said, what is that? I know what's under the hood pretty much. I said, but what is that? He says, that's an electric, basically it's an electric helper. So when you're pulling with a truck at the starts, instead of the truck's gasoline engine
Yeah.
providing all the power.
The electric does it.
It has an electric assist.
Mm-hmm.
That gives it that boost.
It's a hybrid.
To start.
It's a sort of a hybrid.
Exactly.
So,
It
all
produces
right.
But I appreciate your time, Art. And
Vernon?
you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah.
Thanks for calling. Take care.
You're
Bye-bye
welcome.
now.
Bye.
And here's Scott in Saginaw. Good morning, Scott.
Hey, morning, Art. I got a comment question. I keep hearing Democrats saying that Trump is using the DOJ to go after political rivals or enemies. So my example of this is Letitia James. She's being accused of having her father on one of her loan applications as her husband so that she can get a better loan. So my question is, who then is supposed to investigate this woman?
I listen. To me, here's a woman who, she's accusing him of political retaliation. But here's a woman that ran to get her AG job, saying she was going to get Trump before she ever got in office.
Yep.
And it just made no sense to me. She makes no sense to me, but that's beside the point. But I just, this whole thing about weaponizing the DOJ, it's not the first time we've heard it. We heard it under the Biden administration.
But if somebody's actually committed a crime, then you need to investigate the crime.
Absolutely.
Whereas the Biden administration was in search of a crime. They didn't have a crime. They were in search of a crime. So there's two different things there. Just like the January 6th bomber, now we're finding out. Biden administration sat on the information for 4 years. They had his driver, or they had his pings on his telephone. They knew where he was. They had his license plate on camera.
And
they
now,
knew what the guy was.
And it took this long to pick him up. Yep. Yeah, listen. And I will tell you this much about it. It's been relatively well publicized, and people have to make up their own minds. But it's not something that's been hidden. All of this has been out in the open. And it has. I don't see it changing right now, to be honest with you. And I don't see it.
But
And I got news for you. If the Democrats take the House, it's going to get worse.
Oh, yeah, they're going to go right back to doing
what
what
they're going to go back. Yeah.
I mean, we see even now here in Minnesota, the $1 billion being stolen, how deep that now has actually went. The tentacles of that have went into, I think, 22 other states. So this is huge stuff that these dirty Democrats are doing. And that's why they don't want the ICE agents or any of those agents in their state, because they know when they come in there, they're going to start going through books, and these guys are going to get caught.
All right.
And so
time will tell.
Well, but again, my question was to the Democrats, who then is supposed to investigate a Democrat if it can't be from the Justice Department?
Yeah.
Do they just get away with the crime then? Is that what we're up to? Well, I'm a Democrat and I'm an enemy of Trump, so I get away with my crime now.
All right. Good enough.
All right.
Thanks, Scott. Have a good one. Bye-bye now. Let me take a moment to talk about Quick Lane Freeland and also McDonald Ford, because it's the same company. McDonald Ford owns Quick Lane Freeland. There is a difference between tires, regular everyday driving tires in good weather, and winter tires designed to increase the grip. And it's a big difference. And I asked John from Quick Lane Freeland, where they sell tires, by the way, for just $5 over cost. I asked John to tell us the difference.
Hello, Art. Yes, winter tires are made with a pliable rubber compound that includes silica to stay flexible and maintain grip in freezing temperatures. Unlike harder all-season tires, which stiffen and lose traction in the cold, this flexible compound allows the tire to better conform to the road surface, providing superior grip and traction on snow and ice to keep you safe.
Thanks, John. Stop into Quick Lane Freeland, have them check your tires, have them check your cooling system while you're there, and while you're there also, check out the new Ford lineup of vehicles from McDonald Ford, as well as their pre-owned vehicles with something for every budget range. Do it today. McDonald Ford, Quick Lane Freeland, two names that stand ready to help you with your automotive needs.
RocketGrabPlus.com
right, we're back with you here on WSGW. Let's go back to our phones. Joanne is in Thomas Township. Hello, neighbor. Good morning.
Good morning. A comment about the large vehicles.
Yeah.
There's a safety factor, too. They obviously are safer. They're higher up from the ground. And we have a population now. The average person is larger, taller, and that makes it easier to get in and out. But we also have plenty baby boomers left that are shrinking. And when you age, you're less flexible. And getting in and out of those vehicles, in some cases that I've seen, it requires a stepladder.
Well, in terms of the pickups and stuff like that, yes. But I'll tell you the other side of that. A small car can be just as difficult to get in and out of because it's almost too low. And,
yes, if they are too low.
And for some people, that's a real problem, getting in and out of them. So, there's not one perfect vehicle for everybody. Let's start with that. But, market pressures drive what manufacturers make, because if they're not selling them, they're not going to make them.
Yes, it's understandable. We like our large vehicles.
Yeah, we do.
And the sporty ones are nice, but like you said, if a person is tall or not as flexible, that low-to-the-ground vehicle is not comfortable either.
No, that's a no-win.
No, it's a no-win, Art. Have a Merry Christmas.
You too, Joanne. Thank you.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye.
And that opens the lines for you, 989-752-6111. So let me ask this question out of curiosity. What's the ideal size vehicle? Is it the old notion of a Volkswagen Beetle? Or is it a pickup truck on stilts? And everything in between. I personally, and again, we're all individuals. We all have our own likes and dislikes. I'm an SUV guy. I have been for years and years and years. I've had a sequence of SUVs. And I like them. I like the way they drive. I like the room I have in them. I like the loading space I can put things in. I just am comfortable in an SUV. And that's what I will look for. It's what I just, a couple of months ago, bought one. Traded one in, bought a new one. It was new to me. It's not, I have to be honest. I'm sort of giving up buying new vehicles where the first year or two, half the value disappears. And let somebody else take that big hit, and I look for a decent, really nice used vehicle. And it's working. And there also, you get more vehicle for your dollar. But even used car prices are going up because the new car prices have gone up substantially. And as the new car prices go up and we hold on to our cars longer, the value of the used car goes up because the demand is there, but the supply is not. Basic economics, supply and demand. But it's getting to the point where, let's face it, the car of today was the house of yesterday. The price you pay for a car today, particularly if you buy a new one and anything above the basic models, you're into the 50s, 60s, 70,000 and more. Well, you go back 40 years, could have bought a house for that. And along with that, of course, what happens when the price of these vehicles goes up and up and up? The financing gets longer and longer and longer. It is not uncommon today for 72 months 6 years. And there's talk of even longer than that. And the auto industry says the average price today, payment today, is over $1,000. Scary. But I don't see anything happening to lower the price of the automobile. Now, obviously, when you go and buy a new car and you order that new car or you buy it off the lot, you don't have to buy one with all the bells and whistles. You can get a more basic model and you will save money. But there are a lot of folks who love bells and whistles. And also, a lot of those bells and whistles are safety features which protect you while you're driving. It's an interesting quandary. You know, when you go and buy a car, if you're going to buy a new car, it's an interesting quandary of how much you put in it. A used car comes the way it is. If it was a deluxe model with all the bells and whistles, it's still a deluxe model with all its bells and whistles. You can't change it. But a new car, you have the ability to order a new car and put on it exactly what you want and don't include what you don't want. And that will impact the price. But because these prices are going up and the payments are going up and up, it doesn't sound to me like we're going out and buying the stripped-down models. And if you go to a dealer lot and look at all the cars they have, the new cars, how many of them are stripped down? Not many. All right, we'll take a break. Lines open, 989-752-6111. Whatever you'd like to chat about on this open edition. More coming up.
Honey, I'm home. I took
Mannheim steamroller for you right there. All right, let's go back to our phones. We're going to go to Millington and talk to Ken this morning. Good morning, Ken.
Morning, Art. You're doing great. No one should ever have to ask, but I'm going to say that anyway. But
thank you.
Well, anyways, the value of money come to my mind when we were talking about, you used to be able to buy a house for this much money that you spend on a car. 1965, my father owned a small grocery store locally, and he came home from work one night and said the car dealer's wife came in and bought groceries to fill the new house, the pantry, the cupboards, the freezer, the refrigerator, cleaning supplies, everything. He said, yes, come on in. She brought a used Buick station wagon from the car lot. He said, we filled 4 grocery carts full of groceries. Packed that car so full there was barely enough room for her to drive home. And he looked at my sister and I, because we went to school with their kids, and he said, now don't you say anything. What I'm going to tell you next, she paid $104 for groceries today.
Today you wouldn't be able to fill a shopping cart for that.
No, true story. That was, and I'll never forget that.
Yeah,
it was $104 in change, but
Well, I understand. I understand inflation, but for a while it was way out of hand.
Sure enough. But anyway, that's a little clip I just want to send your way. I know everybody else is going, why did he have to say that? Maybe not everybody. But, all right. Have a fine day.
Have a Merry Christmas.
Be safe out there on the roads.
Thanks.
You.
You too. Bye-bye now. And in Mount Pleasant, we find Mark this morning. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning.